Just finishing getting our little setup done here. And I'll show you, before we actually get started piping, how I do my parchment paper squares. You can buy them, but I like to cut them to be close to the size of my flower nail here. And so, you know, I kind of, oops, go like this. And then I'll cut the strip all the way down. And I'll cut another one similar size. Okay, that should be good for right now. And then once again, I kind of see about how big it is. It doesn't have to be exact. I just want it to be, like I said, about the size of our flower nail. Probably do about 3 more out of here. Again, you can buy parchment paper squares, but I always just make my own little quick ones here. Okay. So then our tray, I like to get this ready beforehand. So what we're gonna do is take just a little bit of buttercream. Here I got a little bit of white buttercream, and I'm just gonna go in the corners. Just do a little bit, doesn't need much. Just like that. And then we're going to put a piece of parchment paper down. Probably don't have to do this step, but I always like to have this little base on my little tray here. And the buttercream will help it adhere. Okay, so we got our tray. We're gonna set this to the side. This is what we're gonna be sticking our flowers on. And I'll just put it right here so you can still kind of, I can show you how to pop it off. So, let's start with, let's start with this simple rose. Let me grab my rose tip. Where did you go? Ah, there you are. Okay, so the tip that we use for making rose, and actually quite a few flowers, are petal tips, which if you can see, it looks like a little drop. So this one is a 104, and then this one is a 103, and then this one is a 101. So it's just different sizes, and 101 is the smaller, and then 104 is the bigger. And there's actually a bigger version of this. I think it's a 125, where it's like a really big flower that you can make with it. So let's do, what size? I'm thinking a 103 for this one. It's like a little bit bigger, but it's not too big. So I have my coupler on here, so I can switch this out if I want to do different tips for different flowers. I'm just going to stick this on here. There we go. So sometimes if you want to swap it out, a coupler is a good option to not use a whole bunch of bags. Okay. And then we have our flower nail, and we're going to put down just a little bit of buttercream. Just doesn't need much, just like that. And we're gonna pop a little piece of parchment paper on here. And then we're going to start piping. And typically with roses, you might have a separate piping bag that has like maybe a size 12 round tip or something like that, where you can make a little mound first. I just like to try and do everything in one so I don't have to keep switching between a ton of piping bags. So here's how I do mine. So I kind of make a little mound in the middle using the piping tip. Just kind of like that. And then clean up the tip ever so often as well. You don't want it to affect how your petals look. And of course, we're twisting at the top here to have a little bit more control. Don't forget that. Okay, so we have our little mound here. And then we kind of start with our tip. The pointy end is going to be angled kind of away from us, and the rounded end is going to be aimed a little bit towards us. And we're going to do about 3 petals, kind of laying over the top. Just like that. And then for this next one, we're going to do probably about 5 petals or so, and we're going to have our tip where it's a little bit more vertical. And I kind of like to do little swooping walleye pipe. Like that. And then for this next one, we're going to kind of aim the pointed tip towards us and the rounded one away from us. I'm going to clean that up first though. Okay. And this one is going to be probably closer to about 7-ish petals. That one kind of got a little bit messed up, so let's tuck that one in and then kind of put another petal. So there's our basic rose. I'm going to do another one. You can see it again. And also, I'll just show you what the next one with popping it off and putting it on our tray. Okay. Clean up my tip really quick. And once again, we're kind of making our little mound here. And then away from us, vertical. Towards us. Actually, let me clean that up. Clean it up a bit. Just like that. Okay. And then with our tray, we just gently pop it off like this and then putting it on our tray. They do have little flower scissors that you can use to kind of pop it off and immediately put it onto some kind of like cake or cupcake or whatever. But I always like this method, which is where you take your little parchment paper pieces and you have it all on a tray and you stick this in the freezer. And then once it's completely set, you can easily just peel the flowers right off the parchment paper. My preferred way of doing it. Okay, let's do a different flower. Let's do, where is my pointy tip? Okay, I'm looking for the tip that we use for typically leaves. Where did you go? Maybe in here? Nope. Those are all. I just had my leaf tip right here. 1 second. Found the little bugger. Okay, so this is a 352 leaf tip, and so you can see it kind of looks like a little like beak almost. So it has a nice little opening like that, and we typically use these most commonly for making leaves on our stuff, but you can also use it to do some petals for your flowers. So once again, just gonna have a little dollop of buttercream or whatever I got. Get our flour now all set up and pop our tip on here. Okay. And for this flour, we're actually also going to be using yellow. If the tip ever wants to go back on. There we go. Okay. So with this one, we're actually also going to use some sprinkles. So we have some yellow here. This is a Wilton 12 tip. It's a round tip. And we're just going to pipe a little dollop in the center. That. And we're going to take our sprinkles and we're just going to dip our dollop right in them. Just like that. Set our sprinkles to the side and then we're going to grab our pink bag. And then for this one, the way that we use this for piping is that we hold it so that the openings, or it's like open more in the middle, so it kind of will spread out from here. So the pointier part is right there and right there. And then we're just going to, I think I want to do, I don't want to do frilly leaves. I'm just going to, or petals. Oh, I ended up doing them. It's still good though. So you can kind of do frilly is if you just pipe straight, so then you're going to get it more straight petal. We're just going to do frilly on this one. And then can pipe right over the top to add another layer. Like that. Let's do another one of these. And just like with the other tip, ever so often you want to clean off this one as well. Okay. Just like before. Got our little dollop of yellow. Make it a little bit smaller this time. And dunk it right into the sprinkles. And then with this one, I want to try and do just little petals. And then when I do my second layer on top, I go in between, right, kind of like on the middle of these two. See? Nice and pretty. And I do the same method with this one, just using yellow for the tip or for the petals, and then for the center you can use some either like black or brown buttercream as the base, and then some chocolate Jimmy sprinkles, and it'll look like a nice pretty sunflower. But that was like typically more of, I think of it as like an August kind of flower, so we're just doing kind of more springy ones, but it's the same exact method. I just want to make some more of those pink ones. I think that's cute. Okay, and then let me go grab some plastic wrap really quick so I can show you how to do a 2 colors of buttercream with 1 flower petal. Okay, so I'm going to put down some plastic wrap. Okay, so we have our plastic wrap, and then we're going to take 2 colors. Let's go with, I'm going to do purple for right now. And some white. So I'm going to do a little line of white right here. Just like that. We don't need a ton. Maybe a little bit extra on top. Okay. And then we're going to do purple right next to it. Be a little bit more generous with this one. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm not doing a big old bag. This is a little bit extra plastic than usual. But we're basically going to kind of wrap it like a little sausage. Just like this. And we can cut off the excess. Off the top there, and then we're gonna cut it like right here, because this is where our piping tip is gonna be. Okay. So, pardon me while I get some water. So we've got our piping bag. I put a couple on this one too, just in case I want to switch it out. And we have a cup right here, a little bit of buttercream inside. It makes it way easier to fill a piping bag when you have it on a cup. Just like that. And then we're going to take our little buttercream package right here and stick it right down in there. And there we go. And then we can kind of get it set up to start piping there. It's already coming out of the bottom. Let's wipe that up. Okay, so then what tip? I'm going to do a petal tip. I'm going to do a... I think I'm going to do a 103. Where are you? So I always make sure to get extras of these because you can have basically a bunch of 103s, 104s, 101s, all that kind of stuff. Because it's a pain in the butt to keep switching them out and also cleaning them in between. So if you're going to be making a bunch of flowers, definitely get multiple petal tips is my recommendation. And then for this flower, I want the white to be in the center of our flower. So keeping that in mind, we're going to have the white with the tip and the purple with the rounded part of the tip. I should have said pointy tip with the white part. Got it right here, and we're just gonna line it up. Just like, oops, I got it mixed around. Okay, like that. So we're lining it up, and then we're gonna put our little coupler piece on here. And actually when you put the coupler on, sometimes the tip can turn. So we're just going to slightly unscrew it and put it back where it's supposed to be. and then kind of re-tighten. So it still lines up with where we want to be. Okay. And we're going to grab our parchment paper always with our flower now. Okay. And then we're going to start trying to tighten it up a bit so I can actually pipe. There you are. Okay. So we got our flower now, and then we're going to hold this one so that our, oops, hold on. Did I mix these up? It's been a while since I've been the two-tone. Aha, I mixed it up. Okay. Swapping out for a different tip. Let's go 101. Let's go a little bit smaller with this one. Okay, so scratch what I just said a couple minutes ago. This one, so what we're going to do is we're going to be piping with our rounded end by our flower nail and then the pointed end kind of facing away, and that's how it's going to go. So we want the rounded part to have our white and the pointy one to have our purple. So we're going to line it up like that and pop our little coupler thingy on. So even though I've done these a few times, I still got it a little bit mixed up ever so often. Okay. Stay buttercream. Okay, and it's nice and lined up now. We look good. Okay. Okay, let me just check the chat, make sure I haven't missed any questions possibly. Feel free to ask questions. Say how your day's going. Okay. There we go, that's better. Okie doke. So again, we have rounded towards kind of like the middle of our flower nail, and then pointy end with the purple facing a little bit away from us. And then we're going to pipe kind of like a little curve, and that's going to be our petal. And you can do like 5 to 6 petals. You can even get like a little grid. I think Wilton offers one possibly on their website or through their YouTube or something, where you can get like a little grid paper thing to put down between the flower nail and the parchment paper. I kind of like to just wing it and practice that way, but if you want to use like a little guide, basically it's like a little divided circle with 5 or 6 little sections on it, and that can help show you where exactly to do the piping. But we're just going to go with it. So I'm just going to go like this and pull like that. Go like this and pull like that again towards the center. And clean it off in between, especially with this one. And go like that. Gets a little bit tricky as you get towards the end of it, but kind of like that, just like a nice little flower, and you see how pretty it is with the 2 different colors in there. It's super easy to do that. It looks really complicated, but it's not. Let's do some more of these because they are so itty bitty and cute. Okay, and once again, basically making like a little loop and swoop and swoop. I try and swoop. I was swiping a little bit up that way, so you want to try to keep it kind of flat to make it a little bit better. I'm going to do 6 on this one. Oops. There you go. Let's do another one just for funsies. Just like that. Isn't it so pretty? And you can also, on top of that, add a couple little stamen looking things. So we're going to take our yellow. We're going to go with a really, really small tip. Let's do a tip, I think number 1 or 2 should work perfectly. Let me see. I think I have a tip 1. Yes, tip 1. Okay. So we got our tip 1 on, and then what I like to do, because this is a really small flower, that's why I'm using a tip 1. It's a super duper tiny round tip. Like you can't really even tell that it's round because it's so tiny. But then we just add little dots right in the center of our flower. Oops. Let me make sure that it's piping properly. There you are. Okay. Just add little dots. Stay. See? Adding little dots just adds a little extra pop of color, and it gives it even more of a realistic touch. Okay, what other flower should we do? Let's see, as a recap, so far we've done a couple of roses, and then also these cute little flowers that have sprinkles for the center. And then these are my favorite just because they're the two-tone, and also I love them. They're so adorable. Let's see, let's do with the pink and itty bitty rose. So at the itty bitty, we're using a tip 101. Okay, we've got our parchment paper on our flower nail. Give our bag a little twist for more control up here. And then we're gonna do the same thing that we did with our roses earlier. We're gonna make a little mound in the center. And of course, like I said, you can use a round tip with a different buttercream or same color buttercream, whatever, but I like to just try and do everything in one because I feel like if I need to pipe a whole bunch of flowers, it's gonna go a lot faster and a lot easier that way. Okay, so I kind of do like that. And then again, we're gonna have the pointy end of the petal tip facing away from us to start. And I do about 3 petals across the top here. Like that. There. And clean up the petal tip if you need to in between. And then with this one, we're gonna have it facing a little bit more vertical with the pointy end going upward. And about 5 petals or so right here. We're gonna do like little swoops. Just like that. And then again, we're having the pointy end facing towards us. But I'm going to clean up my petal tip first. We're doing about 7-ish flowers right here, or 7-ish petals. Just like that. Isn't it such a cute little rose? And then we can also do the exact same method that we did for our two-tone buttercream with the little, 5 to 6 petal flower. We have the pointy end facing like right here, and then the rounded end closer to our flower nail, and then the pointy end kind of facing outward away from us. And we just do a little swoop. I'm not getting close enough in between, so I'll need to fix that on my next flower. These ones are still probably the one I have the most trouble with, just because they can be a bit tricky sometimes. So let's do another one of those. Because practice means that we're getting better. Okay. So we got a little swoop. Yeah, swoop. To cut it off a little bit. It's a little bit better. Let's see, I do struggle with this one, like I said, a little bit, just because I feel like with the rose and with some other flowers, you can kind of cover up a little bit more of your mistakes, but this one is kind of so simple that you really can't do that. Let's add a little bit of yellow to the middle to kind of finish it off. So I like to add little yellow dots. Just like that. Pop it off on our tray, and then what else? I think that's it for today. These are my favorite ones to do for spring. So a little recap here, and also let me check the chat, make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, thank you so much, Shannon. Yes, I love doing spring buttercream flowers. And like I said, these ones, the two-tone ones with like a little bit of yellow in the center, are my favorite probably if I had to pick one. They can be a little bit tricky, like I said, because they're so simple. It's easy to kind of get it messed up like that one, but again, practicing always makes it better. So we did some roses, and then we did these cute little ones. You can also make the mound smaller in the center, so it's a smaller flower. I just kind of made it a little bit bigger, and like I said, I do the same technique just with different colors and sprinkles for sunflowers, and of course these cute little petal tips over here. So if you have any final questions, pop them in the chat now, because that's all that we're doing for today. Oh wait, I think I have a question. Okay, Retna says, are they going on a cake? And then Shannon says, love the two-tone ones. I do too. Okay, so are they going on a cake? So I was going to do some with cupcakes, and then also possibly with some mini cakes. I have an idea because I do mini cake Mondays, and I was thinking about using some of them for those as well. I actually have a cupcake. I can go grab that really quick and show you how to pipe directly onto a cupcake. So let me grab one of those before we're done with our live today. Okay, so for this one, we can pipe directly on our cupcake. Let's do this one. Okay, so which tip do I use? I'm going to do pink, and I'm going to do a 104 tip. So it's a little bit bigger. It's not super big, but also this cupcake isn't like a giant cupcake. It's slightly smaller, but not quite a mini. Okay, so the 104 is a pretty nice size tip, but again, for even bigger flowers, I believe it's the 125 is like the really big petal tip, but this one is still one that we can use with our coupler. So let's do a rose. So we're gonna create that little mound in the center. And instead of a flower nail, this is what we got as our cupcake. It's not as easy to use because with the flower nail, you can kind of like spin it and make it a little bit easier, but we can still make it work. It's not as easy. Okay, I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. Same thing, we're gonna do the ones that kind of lay over the top. Actually, I'm gonna do one more little layer of buttercream here. Like that, okay. And then we're gonna do 1, 2, and 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then a little bit more, and it kind of flops to the side a little bit if your buttercream's a little bit soft like mine is, and you can kind of like jiggle it back to the original upright position. And then clean up the tip a little bit, and then the pointy end is facing more towards us. And sometimes since it's on a cupcake, I'll actually do a double layer of outward stuff like this to kind of fill it in a little bit more. Just like that. So you can pipe directly on the cupcake. Like I said, with the ones that are on the tray right here, then you just put it in the freezer, and then once they're completely solid, after, it should only take probably, because they're nice and small, about maybe 5-10 minutes or so. But once you can actually, you know, touch them and they're not going to melt or, you know, break off or anything like that, then just pop them out of the freezer, and then you can literally just easily peel it right off the parchment paper. You just have to make sure they stay nice and cold. If it seems like they're starting to get a little bit soft again, pop it back in the freezer, and then you can bring it back out when it's ready to use again. And you can do that same thing with the cupcakes, or you can pipe directly on like I just did. I think I saw a possible question pop up. Oh, cute. Thank you so much. Do you make your own buttercream? Yes, I do. I have a few different recipes here on my channel, and I have, I think, a couple American buttercream, and then my favorite, though, which is what I'm using today, is Swiss meringue buttercream, because it is a lot less sweet and it's just really silky smooth. It's a really nice buttercream to work with as a whole. I believe in general cake decorators tend to prefer Swiss meringue buttercream. So yeah, that's the one I'm using today, and that recipe is on my channel here. Let me see, I think that's such a useful tip. Oh, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here too, and popping in the chat and talking. I'm so glad that everyone joined today on this lovely Friday. And that's it for today. So like I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to pop it in the chat now, because that's our buttercream flour tutorial for today. And then I will be posting probably some cupcake and also probably some, I'm thinking mini cake, because there's something that one of my friends over on TikTok and Instagram, her name is Sweet Josie Bakes. She makes amazing cakes and cupcakes that are so gorgeous, and her colors are always so vibrant. But she makes these really cute little buttercream flower borders around her cake, but she puts it like in a different, she does it in a different way that I've been wanting to try. So I might try that for one of my mini cakes for Mini Cake Monday. As always, that was fun. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shannon. And thank you so much, Retna. Thank you for both popping in the chat and for everyone else who joined as well today. Like I said, if there's any other questions, that's about it for today. Thank you guys so much for hopping on today. And I have another video, full-length video coming out, I believe tomorrow morning. It is a Scream treat compilation in honor of the new Scream movie that came out today. I'm hearing very good things. I'm very excited because I love the Scream franchise. And then, of course, we have some more fun Easter and spring stuff coming up. So let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're seeing this later, what kind of spring and Easter stuff that you would like to see, because I definitely want to incorporate things that you guys want to see as well. I just really love buttercream flowers. So if you guys want another video like this to have possibly some more flowers, these are the most frequent ones I would say that I make are definitely the roses and the petal tips, and then sometimes these ones. So these are definitely my favorites, but I can definitely practice some more and we can do another video. So let me know in the comments. I'm checking the chat one more time before we get off here. Oh, sweet. Thank you so much. Okay, we're all caught up. That's it for today. Once again, thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you have a great weekend. And if it's storming where you are, like it is where I am, I hope that you stay safe and dry. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.